you Good morning to everybody who's joined so far. Morning, Francois. Welcome.
Good morning.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Nice to see you.
Morning.
I think, like yesterday, we will just wait a couple of minutes to see whether some more colleagues will be joining us. I'm sure they will. The subscription to this conference has been fantastic, so we're really thrilled that there are so many participants.
Sure. Morning, Jan. Thank you so much for joining so early.
Well, it's a pleasure. It really is. It's always good to hear you, Francois, and everybody else.
Jan, you deserve a medal getting up. What is it? 3 o'clock in the morning where you are?
Oh, it's 2 a.m.
Oh, 2 a.m. Even worse.
Yeah, I'm actually in one time zone further west because I'm visiting my father-in-law.
Oh, wow. Okay.
More information than you need. He's 101 years old. So
fantastic.
Yeah. So our opportunity to visit him came up. So we're here.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Anyway, the sessions have been fantastic. I am enjoying them enormously.
They have been really very stimulating, very engaging.
Everyone. Yeah. The work everyone is doing, the presentations, the communications have been very, very good. So keep up the good work. I am cheering you on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jan.
For anyone who doesn't know Jan, she's one of the Siyaphumelela coaches, and usually, certainly prior to COVID, used to visit regularly in South Africa and now continues to support Siyaphumelela long distance. So I think we'll give it another 3 minutes, and then we don't want to delay too much. We will start. I'm sure you've all noticed that the YouTube link has also been put up in the chat. So if you want to share that with any of your colleagues, please feel free to do so. Fatima, will you repost the YouTube link, please?
Sure, I'll do so now.
Thank you.
And I'll leave out my comments about Piers' music.
We all agree. So, as far as I could see from the weather forecast this morning, it seemed like the whole country was pretty chilly. It's certainly pretty chilly and grey here in Johannesburg today.
yeah, no, we had rain the whole night, and also, so we're all sharing the same start to the day.
Let's hope Nelson Mandela Bay is in there too. It needs it desperately.
Right, we're up to 84 participants. And I think we'll just give it one more minute and then we'll definitely commence. Thanks, Fatima. So Fatima's also set up the handle for Twitter. Any Twitterati amongst us? Right, I think we should start. I'm sure colleagues will continue to join us as we proceed. Welcome and good morning again to everybody. Thank you for joining us and for participating on what we, as we have already said, is a rather cold and miserable day. It seems to be throughout most of the country anyway. And also in spite of load shedding, I'm sure some of you may be experiencing some disruptions with load shedding, but thanks for being here. And really want to thank everyone for participating so actively in this conference. It was really extremely stimulating. All the sessions that I was involved in yesterday, the levels of participation were actually great and the questions really stimulating. So thank you not only to all the presenters, and I have to comment that the levels of the presentations has been exceptionally high this year and really stimulating, but also thank you to the participants for engaging and asking questions. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Francois Stradum. I think many people have been part of Siyaphumelela for a while, will know Francois very well. And he's from the University of the Free State, one of our Siyaphumelela partner organizations and one of the mainstays of Siyaphumelela, been with the Siyaphumelela initiative right from the outset, as has the University of KwaZulu-Natal, and Robbie Dunpath and Randia also are mainstays. So we are lucky to really be working with people who are at the core of the project. So thank you very much, and we look forward to your presentation, Francois.
Thank you so very much for this opportunity to talk to you, colleagues. Thank you for making the time. We all know it's a very hectic time of the academic year, June, July, where things are trying to wrap up so people can take a bit of a break over the winter. Thank you to Jan for joining at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's the kind of commitment that has made not only achieving the dream a success, but also has helped us here at Siyaphumelela. So I'm going to share my screen and let's hope it works. Right, can you see that?
Yes, we can see, Francois.
Okay, so it's about staying the course, lessons from our journey that we want to share. I'm going to start with a message from our DVC academic, which we recorded with her because there was unfortunately a clash with her program. So over to Dr. van Staden, and then after 2 minutes, I'll be with you.
Dumelang, goeiedag, Sabona, good day. The University of the Free State has been an active participant in the Siyaphumelela network since its inception in 2014. Since then, we have seen the network grow from the initial 5 institutions to 17 institutions in 2022, all working towards developing data analytics to improve student success. Reflecting on the impact of Siyaphumelela on the UFS, it has helped us to realize the huge contribution of the Kresge Foundation investments that was made. The collaboration through the Siyaphumelela initiative has enabled the university to advance a student-centered culture, by significantly improving success rates while reducing the achievement gap. Expand the use of analytics to improve student outcomes on a general and a large scale. Facilitate internal collaboration and to build institutional capacity in data analytics and student success work, specifically also within the faculties. Engage on a national platform with other institutions to share experiences and develop tools the sector can use to advance student success. Contribute to conversations on the transparency and accessibility of data within institutions and across the South African higher education system. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to the Kresge Foundation visionary leadership and the investment of this kind in an initiative that has now become part of a national policy and has changed South African higher education for the better. Siyabonga, Kyaliboga, baie dankie. Thank you.
Right. To elaborate a little bit on Dr. van Staden's points that she raised, I'm going to look at what are the highlights that we've achieved in different stages of Siyaphumelela. What I'm trying to share with you this morning is that it is a journey. I can give you quotes, but the title of our talk comes from the success literature, where it is so important and it's recognized internationally that if you want to change student success, you need to stay the course. It's not a flash in the pan. It is about deep commitment to social justice and turning our institutions to generators of equity, opportunity, social mobility, to link up to what Tim Rennick said. So what you have on the left-hand side here is, for very apparent reasons, what we refer to as the flower. This was what we presented, the graphic we used for Siyaphumelela 1. And we wanted to link all our student success initiatives with our engagement data and data analytics to develop that in our institution. You can see the 4 focus areas or foci we worked on. Some of the highlights of Siyaphumelela 1 was that the SASSy work enabled us internally to develop a common language, and I also like to think within Siyaphumelela a common understanding of how we think about our students and putting them at the center of design. Collaboration, and you'll hear this theme throughout. We started yesterday in our presentation, but collaborating with each other internally. It's not an easy thing to talk to each other when we all are so busy and there's so many different demands. But then we were so inspired by talking to each other within Siyaphumelela and learning from each other, right? Scaling our high impact practices, I'll talk a little bit about that. We developed 2 pathways reports that made the empirical links between engagement and academic advising, the one version, and the other one between engagement and peer learning. And those are available on the Siyaphumelela site. Siyaphumelela 1 helped us to reinforce the principle of evidence-based change and building our analytic capacity. And we started intentionally focusing on our first year retention and addressing the achievement gap. Then Kresge provided us with a bonus grant. I think it's important to highlight throughout how Kresge has been our partner in this. And the bonus grant enabled us to co-develop a learner case management system. In that project, IDSC and University of Pretoria worked with us. We created a system in the PowerHeader suite that could be a case management system for all institutions. We expanded internally our data analytics to start including nudging. We started experimenting with nudging. And we developed data analytic capacity development workshops for our heads of department and our academic support staff. If you're interested in the case management system, after we co-developed the first version, we've been refining it for 2 years with IDSC. And Gugu and Ruan are going to share more information on the case management system in concurrent session 8 at 11:10 today. So that brings us to the CR network, where we all are now. And is it phenomenal to have 17? I think, Jenny, my count even might have been wrong. It's more than 17, it looked to me, but you can correct me in the chat. So we have got services we provide, the SASSI, Academic Advising Training, and the Regional Student Success Forum, where we have Salt University, University of the Free State, Central University of Technology, and Northwest University, and some TVET colleges from the Northern Cape and the Free State talking about student success. COVID has made those talks more difficult, but we have met and we are shortly having another meeting. And then I'll talk a little bit more about our 4 flagship projects. So under each of these flagship projects, there's actually 4 to 5 different things we are busy with. So if you were to sit in our weekly Siyaphumelela meetings at the University of the Free State, you would have over 20, even more than 20 initiatives that are going on that we report on a bi-weekly basis. But what we learned through Siyaphumelela in terms of using data analytics, starting to use nudging, actually created the foundations to enable us to create the No Student Left Behind initiative when COVID struck. With the lockdown levels, as we all remember, you couldn't bring back many students to your campus, especially initially. So we used data to create a vulnerability assessment. And that is an algorithm that included data points from our Blackboard learning management system, our institutional data, as well as student narratives, where students would tell us why they need to come back to campus. And what we would do then, depending on how we had to, because of national lockdown levels, prioritize those students that were most vulnerable. And our advising office would then immediately reach out to them and would see how we could help them, whether we were in lockdown level 1, 2, or 3, and what was the possibility. So you can see on the left-hand side there, the student was central, and we deployed all the different resources at the university to quickly get help, whether it was connection, ICT services, financial aid, and so on. And this approach helped us to see that 99.95% of our students participated in the academic project in 2020 and 2021. If we move to flagship 2, here I want to talk a little bit about data analytics and automation and how it can make a huge impact on our students. So at the University of the Free State, we use the national benchmark test to see how we can place students in our academic literacy modules. These are one of our HIPs. We have about 11,000 students a year that are part of the academic literacy course. So during COVID, of course, NBTs couldn't be written because they are face-to-face events, right? So we developed a algorithm to help us place our students more effectively. And the accuracy rate at scale is 85% for that algorithm. So we used technology to aid us in getting students to register correctly during 2021, when online registration was a challenge, as it was a challenge for many of us. But importantly, that algorithm saved some students money to the tune of 1 million rand, where they didn't incorrectly register for a course that they didn't need to. We also developed the NBT email bot. Now you might think, like, why is this a big thing? Well, it's 8 different sheets, and please ask Ruan questions about this, because I don't profess to. Ruan talks the 1s and 0 language very well. But we were able to send out emails to these 8,000 students, and that took 4 minutes, a task which previously took 3 to 4 weeks. So in terms of using technology to reach out quicker, more effectively to our students and help them stay on track and take courses that help them to succeed in university. Flagships 3, advising with technology. So there's many projects here. I'm going to highlight just 2 of them. The first is the chatbot, or Kofsi2 bot, as we like to call it. And that is 2020, a snapshot of 2021 data. So the 1M is 1 million messages that took place in 2021. You can see a huge spike around February, March. That was registration, but then continuous activity throughout. Very interestingly, when we analyzed the data, we saw that a lot of school children are using the bot to find out about their studies at the University of the Free State, which is not something we expected. But what's been extremely valuable, we've just analyzed the data again, using quantitative analysis, but also text analytics to analyze the qualitative data. We use that data now to refine our advising, to create an optimal high-tech, high-touch experience for our students. Another highlight is we launched ELETSA, the Academic Advising Association, of which Gugu Teroyobone is the inaugural president. And we had a national seminar just before Siyaphumelela, which by all accounts was a great success. Flagship 4, here success infrastructure is a bit of a broad bin, and it's about contextually responsive success initiatives that we use. So the first one was Quantways or Pathways, the Carnegie Maths Pathway Initiative. If you missed our presentation yesterday, please find the video. It is about unlocking the potential of innovative pedagogy, confronting orthodox ways of approaching quantitative and statistical or math skills. And it has changed us as an institution, and it's starting to change us very significantly. Another initiative which we started during COVID was hashtag Secure the Grad. Evodia Mohwanayani is the head of this program. This is a senior orientation program. We know from the student engagement data from quite a while back that we have got a need for, and this program for seniors follows the academic rhythm to help them with their challenges. We just speed up a little bit. If we look at the services, we're very excited about SASSI 3.0. There you can see the 4 new modules. Sonia and Handley have a presentation at, I think it's cohort 10 or 1140 today, where we're sharing these data on inclusivity, decoloniality, learning with technology, etc. And we're busy compiling a new 2022 report. The AAPD, the Academic Advising Professional Development Short Learning Course, has trained over 200 academic advisors in South Africa. And that wouldn't have been possible without the inputs of our colleagues from Georgia State, who helped us refine and tweak the curriculum. This year, we've got 8 institutions and 46 participants within Siyaphumelela that are part of the training. So all of this, all these collective efforts and the commitment of our academics and our students help to create this graph, which many of you will know. As you can see, the line has a slight positive or upward slope. That means that there's a 9% improvement in success for all races at the university. We've halved the achievement gap from 16 to 8%. We would like it to be narrower. And for our African students, success rates have improved by 18% over a decade. So what are the key lessons? Firstly, institutional commitment, capacity, and infrastructure is central to student success. So you would have seen Dr. van Staden's commitment. Student success and well-being is the #1 strategic priority of the University of the Free State. We used student engagement data to position the student voice in the form of data central to our design. and the University of the Free State has become a place where we focus on equity, quality, and success. Scaling high impact practices with data analytics. Tim Rennick spoke about that. Kreski enabled us to share student engagement data more broadly, which created a conversation around HIPs. What HIPs work in South Africa, which don't. But very importantly, Siyaphumelela connected us to the Achieving the Dream Network and Georgia State. And we were able to use analytics more effectively to see if a HIP works or not, how we need to change it. Foregrounding evidence-based decision-making and innovation. Being a member of Siyaphumelela provided us a platform to emphasize that nationally evidence-based decision-making is important, like Dr. Green emphasized for us yesterday in the new quality assurance framework as well. We have been and are becoming very intentional about using an action learning and action research approach that allows us to take our projects through continuous cycles of improvement and quality enhancement. And very importantly, Siyaphumelela created a space where we could reflect and be accountable to each other using evidence about the effectiveness of what we do. And I don't think we must underestimate the importance of that. The theme now, collaboration. I've talked about it a lot, nationally and internationally. This work, success works, requires you to collaborate. And then to collaborate internally, which is often a little bit more difficult than collaborating nationally and internationally, right? And that African Proverbs, one of my favorite one, summarizes it all. If you want to go quickly, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Finally, success initiatives need to be adaptable and responsive to changing and disruptive environments. So what we have here, we had the disruption of COVID, and we very quickly had to move to different platforms. But I'm sure for all of us, there's different disruptions we face. NSFAS concerns at the beginning of the year. In Putalichaba, our Kwakwa colleagues are going through a very difficult time because of service delivery problems in that area. Water and electricity are not functioning like they should. So we need to be adaptable. And analytics is absolutely vital because the data tells you about the context of your student and how your interventions can be fluid and responsive to their needs. Thank you so much for giving me the time. Marilla, I'm sorry it was a bit long maybe, but thank you.
Thank you very much, Francois. It was really inspiring to have this high-level overview of all the programs that you have initiated at the University of the Free State, and certainly paints a very good picture, I think, for all of us of the kind of work that is doable within the university environment. And I'm sure it serves as an inspiration to our newer participants who have only joined us this year. So you've been staying the course, as you say, for 8 years, and we wish you lots of strength in continuing and expanding this work in the future. I think that we have a few minutes for questions. If anybody would like to put a question either in the chat, it would also be lovely to actually see people and hear you in person. So anyone would like to ask a question, please feel free to put your hand up, and it would be great if you could ask your question in person. Francois, maybe if you could stop sharing. And
which button do I press? Stop share, that helps. I think
that's great. Just
another big takeaway from this presentation.
Thank you, Francois. I just thought it's easier to see any hands that might be raised. We are now Riashna from UCT. Please feel free to ask your question.
Thank you, Marilla. Good morning, Francois, and thank you for the inspiring talk as always. I wanted to ask a question in particular about your chatbot. So we've started a chatbot journey as well at UCT. And we've seen very similar patterns in our data concerning take up and then the drop off and the cyclicity of the way in which the chatbot works. So I have two questions. One is, so one of the challenges we've faced in the development of our chatbot has been, we've been, in fact, not doing it from a centralized space per se. We've been doing it from the academic advising project, rather from a central institutional space. So I just want to understand a little bit about how your stakeholder engagement went regarding putting that together, you know, getting the data onto the bot, the actual questions and answers and that sort of thing. And if you think it's an issue that the take up and the volume, query volumes are cyclical, or that's just the nature of things, given your research.
So, thank you very much. Is it okay if I go ahead, Marilla?
Please do, please.
Yeah. So thank you for the question, Riashna. So Riashna, in terms of the setup, the best person to speak to there is Gugu Tiroyabone. Our chatbot is actually a collaboration between our advising in CTL and our student recruitment services. So it's not centralized in CTL, it is a collaborative effort. It's increasingly becoming more collaborative because more and more parts of the university wants to use the chatbot space, given its success. So about the technical questions, about putting on the questions and so on, I really want you to reach out to Gugu because I think she can provide the best answers there. In terms of the cyclicity of the chatbot use, I think it's a very interesting space for us to think about more carefully. So if, and not if, I don't know what the right word is there. If we go back to Tim Rennick's question, respond or summer melt initiative, right? If we delve into our data, we're starting to see, firstly, what questions students have where. So you can build, refine your advising and your student orientation to do that better, right? But the question for me becomes, is the chatbot space a space where we can actually reach out to students before they come to university, right? We've been bemoaning, justifiably so, the lack of career and information for our students. Is the chatbot space a space that can help universities? Now, that for me is a very interesting question that I think we need to ask in Siyaphumelela. Right? How do we think about this technology, which, if we take Georgia State, but we look at our own data, it's easier to ask a machine a stupid question, which I think is stupid, which it's not stupid at all because you just don't know. And how can we harness that space, right? If we work together, or are we all 17 of us going to develop the same 200 questions and responses to students? What if we were to start talking to each other and say, well, if we were to collaborate, how powerful can we make our chatbot spaces? How can we leverage social media to help our students get ready? Well, I'm becoming excited about this question. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Sorry, Marilla, may I ask a follow-up question? A very quick one.
To be honest, I'd rather if you put it in the chat, because we are over time now. And also just to say to Francois, there's a question from Jan Lidden, also in the chat, if you have a moment, if you wouldn't mind to respond to those, because I don't want to eat into Ruby's time that's been allocated. And also just to note that Gugu's email address at UFS has also been put into the chat for anybody who wanted to follow up on some of the questions regarding the chatbot at UFS. Francois, once again, thank you so much for a very, very inspiring presentation. And thank you. And delighted to see we now have 127 participants in the room. And I'd like to invite Ruby Dunpath from the University of KwaZulu-Natal. Ruby will say a few words first, introducing his presentation, Advising for Access and Success, Perspectives from UKZN, and then there will be a video and then some further discussion. So Ruby, you're on the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilla. I'm not seeing myself on my screen. Can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you.
Morning, Robbie.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm having some challenges here. Greetings to the Siyaphumelela family, and thank you for this opportunity to share with you UKZN's Access and Success initiatives over the past year. So as Marilla indicated, I am Rabi Dunpath, Director of Teaching and Learning and the Siyaphumelela Project Lead, and my co-lead is Professor Randi Rautla. So in the next 20 minutes or so, you'll be able to glean a snapshot of our progress through the eyes of various project leaders, as well as a brief message from our DVC of Teaching and Learning. And hopefully in the remaining time, we will be able to respond to some of your comments and questions. Thank you, Fatima, for screening the video. Thank you. Hello, Sawubona. I'm Rabi Dunpath, Professor of Higher Education and Director of Teaching and Learning at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, UKZN. In this short video, I, together with other UKZN colleagues, will be sharing our experiences in advancing various student success initiatives designed to generate data for decision making at UKZN. To this end, the Access and Success Advisory Forum, or ASAF, has provided leadership and support in developing solutions to gain deeper insights into progression trends. Over the past few months, we've achieved significant milestones. We've developed early warning systems for student progression using artificial intelligence through the AutoScholar Advisor platform. We shifted the gaze of trying to understand success through the lens of failure. The Cum Laude project promises to be a revolution in how we conduct institutional research. Our homegrown first-year experience program is a comprehensive attempt at bringing together best practices in student support in a coherent and sustainable way. The inclusion of the student voice is critical to determining progress made and where more needs to be done through the eyes of students. We acknowledge the critical role played by SAIDI and the Siyaphumelela network in advancing our critical objectives of promoting success and increasing graduation rates. Our Deputy Vice Chancellor of Teaching and Learning, Professor Sandile Sonka, will now share his thoughts on the involvement of UKZN's leadership in shaping implementation of the partnership at the institutional level.
Good day. My name is Professor Sandile Songa. I'm the Deputy Vice Chancellor of Teaching and Learning at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. I am speaking on behalf of all leadership structures of the university, including the Vice Chancellor, the Deputy Vice Chancellors, the Deans, Directors, and academic leaders of teaching and learning. I would like to express our gratitude to the Kresge Foundation for considering us as one of the recipients of the Kresge grants. The grant has enabled us to extend our capacity to provide more support to our students to ensure their success. As university academic leaders, we fully support the partnership of UKZN with the Kresge Foundation. We were involved all the way from the proposal phase of the grant request process to the constitution of structures and providing strategic direction in the disbursement and utilization of the grant. University Teaching and Learning Committee, which I chair, deliberates on critical issues around student success and ensures due diligence in awarding grants to specialized projects. As you will notice in the following sessions of this video presentation, we have our Deans of Teaching and Learning spearheading high-impact projects such as the first-year experience and student support initiatives. It was a great sign to have the Vice Chancellor personally endorse the first-year experience project at a recent meeting with the project team. In establishing a community of practice around student success, we instituted the Access and Success Advisory Forum, which comprises notable leaders such as the Deans of Teaching and Learning, academic leaders, directors of support units, and the Students' Representative Council. They engage and deliberate on critical themes around student success, such as student voices, systems integration, cum laude tracking, and institutional analytics solution. The role of the leadership in ensuring the successful partnership between the university and the Kresge Foundation cannot be overemphasized. We will continue to immerse ourselves in the strategic realms of student success and impactful projects. Thank you for allowing me to speak to you today. Please enjoy the rest of your presentation.
Hi, I'm Samuel Siwe Kumalo, the leader of Cum Laude Tracking Project. In the Cum Laude Tracking Project, we shift the gaze from failure to success. As a first step to this development, the cohort of students who are on track to graduate cum laude or summa cum laude are identified in each semester. The reasons for a student departing from either summa cum laude or cum laude, or even minimum time to graduate, are then determined with reference to the courses failed in a semester. In general, these are not necessarily the same courses with high failure rates, which underperforming students are also failing. This is a more focused identification of the instances in an academic programs where high-performing students move to a lower performing status. In studying the potential cum laude and summa cum laude students' agency and the patterns in their choices in mediating successful performance in such modules, we anticipate gathering useful data. Sequel to this, we'll be using such data to extract insight to inform intervention strategies. For example, in developing module champions to peer support other students that struggle with the identified modules. Hence, information generated will be available to inform complementing intervention to Auto-Scholar Advisor that further enhance student success in the B.Ed program in the School of Education. The Auto-Scholar Advisor also identify modules that are causing the bottleneck in the system, thus achieving the overall goals of improving the student graduation and progression rates. Although this project emphasizes identification rather than intervention, it integrates with projects described later in this set, which focus on student support and advising. Thank you.
The Auto-Scholar Advisor system applies artificial intelligence algorithms to analyze students' courses or modules, academic programs, or even whole institutions. The system securely connects to an institution's records and auto-generates customized advice to the authenticated user. For students, it assists with understanding the routes to graduation, the setting of specific goals to improve performance, and in making the right decisions. For lecturers, it helps identify the students most at risk of failure, where support should be directed early on. For heads of department and deans, It helps identify positions in the curricula where the most students move from being on the minimum time to being extra time students. For any academic program, the system quantifies the proportion reasons for their position. It helps direct resources like student support, supplemental instruction, and tutor budget to those specific modules where more support would benefit the overall progression. With its development guided by the Modern Scholarship nonprofit organization, institutions can participate in its growth and development. The system makes available data science and artificial intelligence algorithms to support further research and publication in the field of institutional research.
Greetings, colleagues. I'm Dr. Suloshni Pillay, Manager Student Support Services at the College of Health Sciences UKZN. Student Support Services developed the Student Wellness and Academic Transformation Program, referred to as SWAT, as a comprehensive academic and psychosocial intervention program to timelessly identify and support students at risk. Grounded in the wellness model, the focus is on understanding the characteristics of students, factors impacting student success, and encourages student engagement. SWAT has seen several iterations over time, with the key challenge being the labor-intensive and inefficient manual processes to review and consolidate large amounts of data. The sudden closure of universities due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the transition to remote teaching and learning compelled the Offices of Teaching and Learning and Student Support Services to reassess the effectiveness of the current strategies to promote student engagement. Hence, aligning SWAT to the remote teaching and the blended learning approach adopted by UKZN became the catalyst for this project to develop an automated system to promote student engagement. The project followed a systems development approach designed in manageable phases to be piloted with first entry students in the School of Nursing and Public Health. The assumption is that a blended, integrated, technology-enhanced model will enhance student engagement, resulting in sustainable academic success and holistic student wellness. The proposed model will monitor students' engagement, track progress in wellness domains, and evaluate academic performance. Functionalities of the automated system includes identifying students at risk and providing an automated referral for intervention, with the effectiveness measured by the volume of completed wellness assessments per month, the turnaround time to complete the assessments, develop the wellness profiles, and intervene with students identified to be at risk. We anticipate the technology-enhanced model to be of value in enhancing student engagement with student support services, with student success metrics such as academic performance providing a critical impetus to scale up the use of blended, integrated, technology-enhanced strategies for engagement via the development of an automated dashboard for managing, monitoring, and enhancing student engagement across UKZN.
Hello, my name is Siyaphumelela and I am part of the Student Voice project within ASA. Having identified the low graduation and slow progression rates at the University of KwaZulu-Natal, there has arisen a need to explore and review approaches adopted for teaching and learning within the institution. While these efforts are geared towards enhancing the student experience and student outcomes, an absent voice in these discussions is arguably the one that matters the most, the student's voice. Thus, the primary purpose of this project is to examine the form and level of student voice integration in UKZN teaching and learning within the parameters of assessment practices. Further, the project seeks to determine contextually appropriate opportunities for the application of student voice integration within UKZN's teaching and learning processes. This project advocates for academics and the institution's management to create space for students to shape teaching and learning at UKZN collaboratively. It is anticipated that a published journal article will be presented at relevant conferences, as well as a report proposing recommendations for the development of an institutional student voice policy at UKZN.
Support for these and other ASAF projects have been integral to setting the scene for a cultural orientation that prioritizes data-driven access and success interventions. Another important step in the advancement of a student success ethos within UKZN has been the development and implementation of the First Year Experience FYE project. Described as an institution-wide collaboration across colleges and support units, it seeks to strengthen the support provided to first-time entrants in line with the greater goal of increasing students' progression. Professor Ruth Hoskins, who has played a vital role in coordinating the project, will provide a more detailed look into the nature and expectations of the project.
The University of KwaZulu-Natal is the premier university of African scholarship. The university prides itself on an inclusive education approach, which allows us to attract disadvantaged students from impoverished backgrounds. To transition students to university life, the university offers a comprehensive first-year experience program. The year-long program is tailor-made to assist the students with vital knowledge and skills to adjust to the university environment and to successfully complete their studies. Upon acceptance, and even before registration, students are appointed a peer mentor who welcomes them to UKZN and supports them during the onboarding, orientation, and registration process. The mentors are well-trained senior postgraduate students who are familiar with UKZN and what it has to offer our students. The peer mentors then also support the first-time entry students with participating and successfully completing the FYE program. The online program curriculum consists of 4 dedicated units, which each FYE student must complete. The inclusive curriculum was benchmarked against international and national standards, and the 4 units cover the following key areas. Unit 1 introduces and orientates the students to UKZN and what it means to be a UKZN student. It assists students with choosing the correct curriculum for their studies and ensures that students are successful in finalizing their registration. A core component of this unit is providing students with vital digital literacy skills. Unit 2 assists the students with developing core academic literacy, writing, and learning skills. The third unit develops the psychosocial knowledge and skills of students. The unit is overseen by a team of dedicated clinical psychologists who also provide student support programs to students with psychological distress and coping skills to balance both their academic and psychosocial wellness. The final unit aims to instill students with financial literacy skills that will assist them with vital knowledge on how to manage finances, become financially literate, and manage any resources they have at their disposal. Aspects for entrepreneurship skills are infused in the unit. The core curriculum forms a foundation for a knowledge and skill set that will ensure the students are successful with their studies. The FYE program is offered in an online blended mode using the UKZN Moodle Learner Management System. Students enroll for the course once they have accepted an offer to attend UKZN. The system is thus geared to welcome and provide support to students even before they are enrolled. The program site is fully interactive and students can work through the self-assessment content and monitor their progress while earning badges for participation. The comprehensive FYE program is another example of why UKZN inspires greatness. FYE students graduate from the program with lifelong learning skills that they carry forward when studying towards their discipline content. More importantly, the program contributes to enhancing our graduate attributes so that our graduates are able to make a meaningful contribution to society.
In addition to their institution-wide integration and visibility, student success initiatives are successful to the extent that they address the contextual needs of the students who they seek to assist. This requires an orientation that evolves beyond addressing students as an audience, but as an important stakeholder in advancing efforts to improve success. In this sense, the perceptions of students on the relevance and efficacy of the various student success initiatives is critical to determine progress made and where more needs to be done. With the inclusion of members of the Student Representative Council to ASIF, the voice of students is centered across engagements. We will now give UKZN Secretary General of the SRC space to express their own experience within the forum and the opportunities this presents.
I am Siyaphumelela Madondo, the Secretary General of the Student Representative Council in the University of KwaZulu-Natal. I am the member of the Access and Success Advisory Forum along with the SRC President Malusi Zuma. I believe that this forum is a significant answer to various questions asked by the university community at large. There is uncertainty and confusion that has been brought by the pandemic. It is no longer clear what is normal, hence you'll hear others refer to the new normal. This brings questions such as, do we continue with online learning introduced by the pandemic? Do we go back to traditional teaching and learning, or is the blended learning the way to go? What forms of support are required for all students at this time? How do we ensure that no student is left behind? This forum has proven to be key to respond to such questions and many more with the goal of ensuring no student is left behind. Most importantly, the student voice has also not been left behind as it is represented by the SRC, which bring in student experiences. We believe the recommendations given by the forum are real and practical as surveys are conducted before giving a recommendation. As the student leaders, we highly applaud the initiatives and recommendations of this forum as they speak directly to matters we face as students and which we have been failing to get suitable answers and solutions.
Thank you, Rabi, for that presentation.
Thank you, Marilla.
Will you be saying a few more words?
No, I think we have limited time, just a few minutes. So if you could open up the floor for discussion, Q&A, we'll be happy
Great.
to take.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. And we do still have 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So it would be lovely if people have any comments or questions they'd like to share.
There's a raised hand from Jerry from VUT.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, colleagues. As you already said, I'm Jerry from VUT. I was just interested on the part of FYE, because I'm also working in FYE at Value University of Technology. I just wanted to know about that module. Like, does it have credits? The module just presented under FYE. Or how is about the attendance and the participation in that module? Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry, for that question. What I will do after this presentation is write to you directly and share with you the email address of the team that's working on the FYE program, which is just been completed and it's been piloted, and we'll be happy for you to benchmark with that program with a view to developing your own. Thank you, Jerry.
Yes, thank you very much. I would like to contact those people. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Rabi, maybe you or somebody from your team would like to just include your email address, then Jerry will be able to make contact with you, or Jerry can put his email address in the chat.
Certainly.
Okay. Any further questions or comments that anybody would like to make? Miss Matiba from Sifato Makhato would also like to make contact with the team at UKZN. I'm sure there is a lot to learn and wonderful to see this collaboration happening.
Yeah, so Marilla, just to make a general point, we did extensive research before engaging with the development of the program. And this research involved consulting with what's on offer in South Africa and abroad. And a fairly large interdisciplinary team from across the university involving academics and support staff was brought together to develop the different modules. And so we are at the phase now where we're appraising or evaluating its efficacy with a view to refining it going forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to say the comment that Gugu from Free State has made in the chat is I think really on point. It takes a village to help students succeed. And I think that's come across very strongly in both the presentations this morning from Free State and from the University of KwaZulu-Natal. The whole emphasis on institution-wide integrated holistic approach to student success, and the importance of leadership involvement in the student success, the ongoing engagement and establishment of a strong student success committee and regular meetings. I was amazed to hear that in Free State the committee meets weekly, but that is why they are able to offer this range of important support programs. So thank you both very much for inspiring presentations and giving us all a very good picture and imagination for the kind of work that we can all engage in our respective institutions. So thank you, Rabi, and thank you, Francois. It's just 2 minutes past 10. Thank you, everybody, for your participation. We've got a short break, and the concurrent sessions will commence at 10 past 10. So thank you. Just enough time to grab a cup of tea or coffee on this very cold morning. Thanks again.